Hi guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me for another royal news video. So if you're new here, welcome aboard. Join the fun in the comments. Please hit the subscribe button. It's completely free to subscribe. It means a lot to me. And hit the like button and the notification bell and you will be told when I have posted a video. Occasionally, the notifications are famous for not always working. So it's always worth coming back to check. So, divorce rumours are everywhere. A couple of media outlets are saying the separation is happening. More interestingly, one of them is the Montecito Journal, which is the must-read for the locals around Montecito. The A-list read it. And it's got a gossipy grapevine, down the grapevine column, and it said the separation is happening. Now, obviously, we've not had an official announcement, and I'm a bit sceptical of the timing. Aren't you? They finally are going to do a divorce, or at least speculation is being ramped up that they're divorcing smack bang in the middle of the King and Queen Camilla's royal tour to Australia and to Samoa. It's a case of don't look at them, look at us. We know that Harry and Meghan are quite capable of making up any sort of drama to keep the attention on them. And as I said, bit suspicious of the timing. But is it true? Could it have been love, but it's now over now? Lay a whisper on my pillow. Don't worry, I'm not going to sing to you, but I am going to start off the video by introducing you to a new Prince of Sussex. I went Christmas shopping briefly with my mother. Yes, me, and I wasn't dragged. I actually really enjoyed it, and I was the only one that bought something. Yeah, I know something's going on with me at the moment. But I fell in love with these guys. I don't know what it was. The inner child in me just was like, I've got to have one. Obviously not one of that size. So I'd like to introduce you to His Royal Highness Reximus Maximus of Sussex. I felt that Sussex needed a new prince for representation, and I'm pretty sure he's got a higher IQ. So let's talk gossip, shall we? Let's talk, could this actually be for real? You guys know that I have been somewhat, I would say, speculating that all is not well. And when it really first started for me, it was Harry's book trail, when he released Spare. Meghan was not with him. He was getting so much backlash, and I just cannot see her not wanting to be part of that. Perhaps Penguin Publishers laid down the law and said, no, Harry, this is your book. You've really got to be the one to push it. But I found her absence, especially, as I said, a lot of the backlash he was getting and a lot of the people calling him out for some of his versions of truth, which didn't add up to anybody else's. Recollections may vary. And I thought she's not really there backing her husband up. Then more recently, another flag for me was tabloids on trial. He spent more time talking about Chelsea Davy than he did his actual wife. Then they had the CBS, which was all to do with launching the Parents Network, Archwell's Parents Network. Harry looked like he would rather be anywhere else. Meghan even touching his knee didn't get any reaction. They were both glaring at each other. They looked completely fed up. But when Meghan was talking about such an emotional thing of the worst night possibly of their lives where she felt suicidal, there was no reaction from Harry whatsoever. He looked completely bored and disinterested. Then we had People magazine, remember, where Harry got caught out emailing them for the exclusive, and then they had to change the magazine to say that it was Harry's representative that contacted them, not Harry directly. But he gave a gushing article about how his children mean everything to him, very much his children. There was no mention in his birthday exclusive about the woman that had saved him. So again, another flag. Then, of course, you've got New York, where Harry was, pretending he was still a working royal, not quite sure exactly what he was up to, pushing this initiative and that initiative, mainly there to just have his photograph taken and to do some more doomsday speeches to cheer everybody up. But of course, Meghan didn't go with him. Now this, considering she's had the backlash, major backlash, from her being painted as a dictator in high heels, a demon duchess that leaves grown men shaking and crying in fear. She terrifies the staff. From the Hollywood Reporter, also known as the Hollywood Bible. The problem is with it being in that particular publication is Hollywood works with that particular publication. So if they said it and there's apparently 12 people willing to back it up with affidavits, then everybody in Hollywood now knows that Meghan is in fact not actually a very nice person, backed up by another US publication, The Daily Beast. So Meghan, bearing in mind that Harry and Meghan have gone out of their way to talk about Meghan's depression when she joined the royal family, the stress, the pressure of it, even though the majority of the coverage for Meghan was absolutely positive until the problems started obviously coming to the surface of her being really horrible to people, Catherine, her niece, Princess Charlotte, the staff, even being told off by the Queen. But the general, at the time, the general reporting was all good, but Meghan felt suicidal. She hated it so much she wanted to take her own life. Do you guys not find that weird? If she suffered from depression, she's been suicidal before, that she's getting ambushed by the Hollywood Reporter, everybody's turning their backs on her, she's just being called a desperate demon duchess, D-list, nobody wants her. And then Harry's just left her to be at home with the children. That's not something that I would say a loving husband would do. But again, could that be something that Meghan might weaponise and use at Harry if this does in fact turn out to be true? Now, some people are saying, well, of course Meghan wouldn't leave the children without a parent. Well, it's never stopped those two before. They've gone to Invictus Games and then extended their holidays, leaving their children behind with nannies, or, you know, some people believe with Doria as well. But Harry and Meghan have never had a problem going somewhere and leaving their children. So I'm sorry, that doesn't wash with me either. Even at Christmas time, Harry and Meghan went Christmas tree shopping without their children. They got their security to phone ahead to shut down Macy's car park where they have the huge selection of Christmas trees in Santa Barbara. They cleared out all of the families so Harry and Meghan and their security team could go there. They didn't take the children. Again, you know, I do understand why there are lots of rumours out there about the children. Now, as I said, Harry's also not been seen since he arrived in South Africa. Yes, okay, we had that video released of him surfing, and I'm sorry that we know that Harry and Meghan like to record stuff and bank stuff and then release it when it's suitable for them, normally to clash with Catherine and William doing something or the King and Queen doing something. We know that they have done that ever since Meghan joined the royal family. So yes, okay, the video got released conveniently, but that doesn't mean he was in Montecito. Now let's talk about Nigeria and Colombia. It didn't go unnoticed that Harry didn't just look miserable, or I like this expression, pussy whipped under the thumb by his wife, being led around like the good little puppy dog that he is. He looked irritated, he looked pissed off, he looked fed up of being someone that was in the background when it was meant to be both of them going there. It was Harry's Invictus why they went to Nigeria in the first place, but Meghan turned it all about her becoming a princess of Nigeria, didn't she? Poor old Harry was just placed into the corner and forgotten about. Colombia, you saw Harry's real annoyance when she was interrupting him, pushing in front of him. I mean, even when she walked in, when they both walked in to go meet the vice president, Meghan was overheard saying, hand, give me your hand, you know, and that, to me, it looked like it was more about keeping up appearances rather than just natural affection. Now, as for the reporting that's coming out, this isn't just social media gossip, okay? This is the Montecito Journal. As I said, this is the one that the A-listers read all around Montecito to get their gossip, right? Well, the author of this particular Grapevine article is called Richard Minance, and he is a former Fleet Street royal reporter. So he's not exactly like some cheap, tacky gossip rag magazine. And who better to have the gossip of what's going on locally than the people that live locally? There's been a big shift in the UK recently as well. Liz Jones, oh, she is famous for supporting Harry and Meghan despite everything that they did to the royal family, despite all of the lies that have come out against them. She was a massive staunch defender of them. Well, she's turned her back on Meghan, apparently just because she turned up looking a little bit inappropriately dressed at the Children's Hospital Gala. Find that a bit suspicious. That's why she suddenly switched sides after everything she's done. More recently, Tina Brown, former Vanity Fair editor. She's very well respected in the industry. She was actually very friendly with Diana and was lunching with Diana 2 weeks before Diana died in Paris. And she has always been very soft on the whole Harry and Meghan thing, but she's turned against Meghan as well. And again, it's very much people are turning on Meghan. Now, these are people in the UK media. Everybody is piling on Meghan, which makes me think they perhaps know something that we don't. Even if there's an injunction in place where people can't talk about something, they all know because they all gossip with each other. So the other thing, of course, is the property purchase in Portugal. Now, this is a big red flag for me because the fact that it was quite clearly fed to the public on purpose via Richard Eden through the Daily Mail. And we know that Bryony Gordon, Harry and Meghan's, well, Harry's friend, works there. Why would they announce it when they are so concerned for their privacy, safety, and security? When rich people buy properties, they use secret agents. Not these type of secret agents, but ones involved with non-disclosure agreements. They use holding companies, trusts, and LLC companies to make the transaction remain completely private. Again, this makes sure that whoever it is purchasing the property has an element of security, safety, and privacy. The fact that Harry and Meghan wanted that leaked tells me there is something a bit more going on behind the scenes. Now, of course, people are saying, Harry was named in some of the P. Diddy court paperwork. I really don't know which way that's going to go. They could just be using his name to give it extra publicity. And then, of course, you've got the fact that Trump, no one hit me with political stuff, but let's be real, it looks like it's 50-50 which way it's going to go in America. And if Trump comes in, that's not going to be so good for Harry, because he's certainly not going to allow Harry and Meghan to continue to have freebies, which most of us believe that the Biden administration has. Being placed in Portugal also puts Harry 2 to 3 hour flight away from the UK. So if he is going to start repairing relationships with his friends, so he can nip over and spend time with some of the charities and patronages he still works with, and who knows, maybe trying to make amends with his family. I'm not sure I believe that one, really, because he still seems so angry and so bitter. But again, as I said, it's a place that's in Europe, it's close to the UK. He can't buy a property in the UK. He's still suing His Majesty's government. He's got a lawsuit going on saying it's too dangerous to come to the UK with his wife and children. If he buys a property here, that's obviously not going to look too good. Now, the big question is, do we think that Harry is finally waking up to his wife's antics? It's very clear that Meghan sold him a completely different story of what his life was like in the royal family. He was in his brother's shadow. Now Harry is basically treated little more than Meghan's handbag carrier. Harry now really knows what it's like to be in someone's shadow and for someone to constantly hog the limelight. Harry has been trained like a puppy by Meghan to let her go first from the very beginning, convincing him it's what he should do. She should always be presented first. She should be the one to give the speeches. It was very clear what she was up to from the very beginning. But then it changed to Meghan completely forgetting that Harry was even there. Meghan's narcissism is often on full display because she got exactly what she wanted. Harry is pretty much surplus to requirements. Or so she thought. Now that Harry's backed away and separated the events they do together, Meghan might be regretting her treatment of her husband and might desperately be scrambling to get back to love bombing him. I mean, seriously, when you think about it, how much can one man's ego truly take? I know people say that Harry's a little bit slow, the dim-witted prince, but he has taken a lot more than what most men would do. With Meghan, from when she got that ring on the finger, she was very different when she was the shy girlfriend going to engagements with him. Even at the first garden party, Meghan was still and then she got her feet firmly under the table. And then it was shoving Harry out the way, pulling Harry out of the way, stepping in front of Harry, pushing him behind her. Meghan was the one in front. Meghan was the one that got the microphone. Meghan was the one that they were there for. Harry's confidence seemed to drop lower and lower and lower. But now he no longer looks like that sad, pathetic puppy dog. He looks pissed off. And one of the big things that has always made me laugh with Meghan selling her story of how hard it was her joining the royal family was everything she had to sacrifice, everything she gave up to be with Harry. It was obviously a way of guilting Harry, all of the sacrifices she made to just be his girlfriend. It was all about pressuring him to propose, to get the ring on the finger, her safety. But it's the fact that she gave up nothing. She had a rental car. She had a rental property. It was a lovely property, but she was renting it. She didn't own anything. She was also being written out of Suits because Patrick J. Adams had already decided that he was leaving the show. So she was naturally being written out. And I think at the age of 36 years old, she was very lucky to get Rachel Zane when she did. The only thing that Meghan really left behind in Canada was her dog and her clothes. And in return, Meghan got jewels. She got worldwide fame, media attention, money. She was given hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of clothes, luxury, holidays, which has obviously still continued because even in their multi-million-pound mansion that they live in, Meghan is trying to live her life like she's a billionaire. And obviously, as Harry is probably realising, she's going through his money like water. Keeping up appearances in Montecito when you've got no talent and no regular income is going to drain your funds rather quickly. Now let's look at everything that Harry gave up. He gave up a lot of the charities that he'd worked with. He gave up his patronages, his military positions. Now obviously Harry cried boo-hoo that the nasty Queen had stripped that away from him, but he quit his job. Working for the firm, he wasn't just given those jobs because he was family, he was given that because he was a senior working member of the royal family. He quit. You don't get to take all of the privileges and everything else with you. Harry gave up his friends, he gave up his social life, he gave up his family. And for what? The occasional surfing lesson? Occasionally he gets to play polo, does an occasional speech, no doubt paid for, and pap strolls. Meghan is the only woman in the world that had the opportunity to kiss a prince and turned him into a frog. As I said, it's that reverse Midas touch. So is it that far out there to think that after years of Harry watching everything about his life being turned topsy-turvy, about his popularity nosediving into an oblivion, that perhaps he suddenly realised that the Meghan that he met and the deal that he was sold, much like Spotify and Netflix, well, it's not exactly what he signed up for. Now, of course, all of this being said, as I said in the last video, I wouldn't be shocked or surprised if these two have plotted this to try and get attention away from the King and Queen's tour to Australia and Samoa, and they know that Catherine is gradually coming back to work as well. And then they're going to appear out of nowhere and they're going to be more loved up, holding hands, kissy, kissy, lovey-dovey, and then we'll have Better Up now offer marriage counselling services. You can sign up for it for just $9.99 a month. I mean, I wouldn't put it past these two to try and stir it all up so they can then cry, oh, people are bullying us and being mean about us on social media. And then, of course, as I said, they try and overshadow the King's royal tour. But as everybody can see with their own eyes, Harry and Meghan are no longer even a ripple in the ocean. Nobody is interested in them. The only way that Harry and Meghan get attention these days is to play games. And the only real reason why the majority of people enjoy watching anything to do with Harry and Meghan is because either the drama that they create or it's the embarrassing stunts that they pull. It's certainly not because people want to be kept up to date on their charitable endeavours, which most of us can see. It's basically contrived. It's fake, especially the fact that Meghan also likes to launch a photograph immediately to give herself a pat on the back and to talk about how fabulous and kind that she is. It's narcissism on a grandiose level. Even People magazine has lost interest in the couple because recently they had their big 50th year anniversary and they had all of these famous cover stars make an appearance. There was no Harry and there was definitely no Meghan. But there was definitely a nod to royalty because we had a corgi with a cute little crown who came trotting on at the end. Yes, they'd rather pick a dog wearing a crown than pick Meghan or Harry. That has definitely got to have stung. Now, to finish off the video, we have got to talk about some serious gaslighting that's been going on from Harpers Bazaar. Anyone would think that Omid Scobie still works for them because Harry has been listed as the 25th hottest man of all time. Yes, you heard that right. With famous names beating him, thankfully, as James Dean, Cary Grant, Robert Redford, Richard Gere, George Clooney, and then you have Harry sitting there at number 25. The only thing that I can think of as to why Harry was even on this list, there was no mention of Prince William, quite clearly the more attractive brother, but the reason why Harry was on this list was because Harper's Bazaar was the only publication allowed to follow them to Colombia. So it was like a little bit of a payment, but obviously they couldn't make Harry number 1, but to even put him at number 25, Prince Harry is apparently, according to Harper's Bazaar, more attractive than Ryan Gosling, Michael B. Jordan, Alexander Skarsgård, Joe Manganiello, yes, our seed from True Blood, and Henry Cavill. I'm sorry, Prince Harry is more attractive than these gentlemen? On what planet? It had me rush into my calendar to check that it wasn't actually April the 1st. I'm honestly not sure what Harpers Bazaar was up to because, let's be real, all it was going to do was attract a lot of nasty comments about Harry, because whilst Harry is not an ugly man, I think it's his personality that makes him deeply unattractive now. But Harry, when he was younger and he was happy and we were sold this other image of Harry, he was quite attractive in a few of the photographs and the videos. But it was his cheekiness, his playfulness, his ability to laugh and to make others laugh. You know, us ladies like a man that can make us laugh. We do not like a grumpy, miserable, bitter man-child that moans all the time. That does not rev men or women's engines whatsoever. But as you can imagine, there were so many comments coming out thick and fast once this got released. Some of them rude, some of them mean, some of them funny. And my favourite one was by Matt vs. Mind, who said, "I had no idea that Harpers Bazaar printed a Braille edition." Is that a little bit harsh? Yes, but is it funny? Oh, most definitely. So guys, that's it for me on this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I will chat to you in the comments for as long as I can, and then I need to start getting my stuff together because tomorrow I am going to a Halloween party in Bracknell, and I thought, well, I'll give you a little bit of a clue. Take care for now. See you soon. Bye.